Welcome, and this is the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, your number one source of information, education, and entertainment. For honest, responsible, and dependable information, we stand supreme. To stay focused, inspired, and relaxed, choose green. Ekabo, and welcome to the Ifa Orisa Tradition Community Discussion Show. And to start, I would open with the Oriki. Openifu Oludumare Oba Ajiki. Mojiloni Mowogun Mary Aye. Iba Ila Orun. Iba Iwo Orun. Iba Ariwa. Iba Gusu. Iba Oba Igbalye. Iba Orun Oke. Iba Baba. Iba Yeye. Iba Atiwo Orun. Igungun Kiki Igungun. Ibashe Ori. Ori Inu. Ipori Atiwo Orun. All right. And as usual, I'm going to give a brief lesson for today's show. And like last week, the subject is still going to be Ifa. But this week, I am going to read and discuss an article from Fabwemijo Amosun Fakayode. All right. The title for the article is Ifa, the answer to all life's problems. All right. Ifa is an ancient sacred science that has been passed down generationally for thousands of years. Ifa is also known as Fa or Afa in different parts of West Africa, as it is practiced by various ethnic groups in the area. Ifa is a science of divination, a means of communication and interaction with the unseen spiritual world. Through the practice of Ifa, we can see what cannot be seen in the past, the present, and future, and thus diagnose problems that are beyond our scope. Therefore, when we place our trust in the word of Ifa, we are always ensured hope, no matter how dire the situation may seem to us. Much like when one goes to see a modern doctor, going to the Babalawo or Ianifa, which is an Ifa priestess or priest or priestess, starts off with something much like diagnosis. Instead of the doctor physically checking you out with instruments
such as a stethoscope, thermometer, etc., the Babalawo will consult the Ifa oracle on your behalf to ask Ifa what the energies in your situations are. Even if you do not reveal any symptoms or details to the Babalawo, they will consult Ifa and Ifa will reveal all. The Babalawo must interpret the divination and they will interpret the divination and they will most usually do so with the use of Ese Ifa verses, which are verses of divine poetry that has been passed down thousands of years. The Babalawo will unravel details of your own situation from the poems, and then they will help you make sense of it all and how it applies to your own personal situation. Often, the patient or client will have an internal reaction to the messages of Ifa, and they themselves will come up and tell the Babalawo further interpretations and insights into their own situation or problem. The Babalawo and the patient will discuss the interpretation, and there is much healing psychologically. Certain things that were before overlooked or subconsciously swept under the mental rug are now brought to light by Ifa and by the person's own Ori, which is the divine head or consciousness. And the whole issue is given a new shade of light. These new perspectives and this outside divine word of Ifa help the patient to re examine their situation and to look at it from an externalized view, much like modern counseling or therapy. This helps the patient to deal with their situation and their problems. On this, Ifa says, Ugbe touches the matter for it not to break. Ugbe touches the matter for it not to bend. A beautiful bride is desirable when passing by. When she moves into the home, she becomes trouble. Cast Ifa for Oron Miller. When he was in debt of 6 different places, and Ifa requested a goat from him. He then made his cry a cry of shouting and made his song a dirge of lamentation. Now, those who write one off do not know tomorrow. If one is not yet dead, one's chances of achievement have not yet ceased. Those who write one off do not know tomorrow. Travelers to Ipoh and Offa, join us in the midst of abundant array. All right. Next, again, much like a modern doctor, the Babalawo will interpret the Udu Ifa to prescribe medicines and sacrifices necessary to ensure blessings and to keep away all negative forces. If the patient is sick with a disease, Ifa will have revealed the sickness even if the patient exhibited no symptoms. And then Ifa will at the same time offer solutions to overcome the problem. Established here on earth by divinities, cast Ifa for Orunmila on the day that all the malevolent supernatural powers were repeatedly haunting his household. The day death comes looking for me, Ifa spread out and provide protection for me. Just as Ewe Enla spreads out to shield Ori, just as a big river spreads out to shield the sand of its bed, the day all the malevolent supernatural forces came looking for me, Ifa spread out and provide protection for me, just as Ewe Enla spreads out to shield Ori, just as a big river spread out to shield the sands on its bed. It is Eten Ponla that spreads out and shields the soil. Ifa spread out and provide protection for me, just as Awe Enla spreads out to shield Ori, just as a big river spreads out to shield the sand of its bed. Ifa will guide us and protect us. Ashio, sincerely, Fa Bumijo Amosun Fakayori. All right, so that ends the actual reading of the article. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to review it and I'm going to discuss or elaborate on a few of the points that has been mentioned in this reading. All right. The reading is called Ifa, the Answer to All of Life's Trouble, and it explains that it is a sacred science that has been passed down generationally for thousands of years. All right. It also explains that through Ifa, what takes place is communication and interaction with the unseen spiritual world. Okay. What the Babalao does is the Babalao, through divination, connects us with Oludumare's will and desire for our life. In most instances, the guidance is to put you on track towards the fulfillment of your destiny. All right. Through the practice of Ifa, we can see what cannot be seen. It speaks of the past, the present, and the future. Through Ifa, many things that takes place in our lives are known to us because we don't know everything. And even your past, you don't know everything about your past. You know what you experienced, but you may not always be aware of the workings that take place in your absence that may have affected your life in your past. Just like today, many things happen in our lives and we are aware of the effects, but a lot of times the causes and the workings we are not aware. However, through Ifa, we can be made aware. And not only would we acquire the awareness so that we would know how to act and to deal with situations, but in most instances, Ifa provides the guidance of what is taking place, what we should do, and also it offers us remedies for any potential difficulty or challenges. All right. All right. The analogy given in this particular lesson is with that of a medical doctor. And the comparison was the Babalawo to the doctor and the way that one has to be diagnosed. The only difference is the Babalawo uses divine implements to get the information and to make the determination. Here also in the reading, it mentions the essay Ifa, the poetry of Ifa, that is used to explain the situation of the client. The same essay Ifa also offers specific solutions in many cases, and also in some cases, provisios, where you are warned probably to avoid going a particular place or avoid communicating in a certain manner, or you are advised sometimes to modify your behavior in some sort of a way in order to overcome some sort of potential obstacle or resistance. All right. The orikis that are mentioned here, two of them were mentioned, are basically in seeking the protection of Ifa. All right. Asking to be protected today and tomorrow from situations that can lead to distress. And in one of the essays, it even talk about shielding one's life. Okay? And it compares also Awa Enla, who shields the Ori. And we are asking for that same type of protection from Ifa. All right? And that basically is the lesson for today's program. All right. Well, for all the viewers, we thank you for joining us. All right. I would now proceed to doing what I do each week, which is basically providing the educational information where the opportunities are available for persons viewing the stream and for persons who might be interested in learning more about IFA. First, I would tell you about all of the Facebook platforms where you can visit to gather information, as well as you can view these streams together with many others. All right. You can view the streams on the IFA Orisa Tradition Discussion Group of TNT, on the Grassroots Education and Entertainment Network, on the IFA Bamero home of IFA Orisa Tradition, and the IFA Orisa Tradition Teaching Group of TNT, in the IFA Orisa Community Congress, in the IFA Orisa Institute of Sacred and Divine Sciences, in the Traditional Herbal Health Network International, in the African Indigenous Tradition Community, on the Orisa Baptist Small and Medium Business Alliance, also on the Orisa Baptist Teaching Moments International, and the Iantis Diasporic Venture. All right. We also have a YouTube channel where you can view these videos as well as many others. The name of that particular channel is the Ifa Bemero home of Ifa Orisha Tradition. All right. Now, beside the streams and on the Facebook platform and on the YouTube channel, classes are also offered where we teach on Ifa, Orisha, as well as other African sciences on the at the African Indigenous Tradition Community, where we have classes each Tuesday at 5 p.m. at the Barataria Community Center. This is at 6th Avenue, opposite the recreation ground. Beside these live classes, we also have virtual classes. On Wednesday, we have astrology classes at 6:30 p.m. On a Friday, we have etymology classes at 5 p.m. Now, the show that you are currently viewing is the Ifa Orisha Tradition Community Discussion Show, which is aired every Friday at 6:30 p.m. We also have another show on a Wednesday, which is the Ifa Bemero Show, which teaches the basics of Ifa Orisha. And on a Sunday at 5 p.m., we have the traditional herbal health show. So basically, these are the various areas where we offer educational opportunities for devotees of the community, as well as for individuals who are interested in learning about Ifa and African tradition and traditional sciences. All right. I will encourage you to view these streams on the Ifa Bemero home of Ifa Orisha Tradition on YouTube, where you could like, share, and subscribe. All right. After this video, most likely another of our video is going to come up. Please view that stream. And with that, I would like to say Oda Bo